All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. This session is going to be a discussion panel. We are having 3 guests. They're quite amazing because they are from different parts of the company. They're all going to share how we can better work with the sales team and customer success and improve those connections. So if any of you have some contentions with sales or looking to just improve that, this is the session to attend. This discussion panel is going to be led by the one and only Guy Galon. Help me warm welcome. Our next panelist is Karina Chertas, Director of Customer Success from Fireblocks. Welcome, Karina. We also... Yeah, finally a woman in our panel. Note to self. Hey, you got me. The whole... Okay, Elad Koren, VP Product at Palo Alto Network. And then finally, we have Eyal Baron, Brown, Head of Sales, UKI at Coralogics. Guy,
thank you, Rit.
Take it away.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. And welcome to the Customer Success, Sales, and Product Successful Collaboration panel. And thank you for being with us today. The panel will put the spotlight on the interfaces and collaboration between the customer success and 2 very important teams, sales and product. All teams engage with customers. Ultimately, they have impact on customer experience and customer growth and customer success. The question is how we do it effectively and efficiently and leverage the capabilities and skills of all the teams. My name is Guy, and it's my pleasure to be the moderator of this panel. With me on the stage, Karina, Elad, and Eyal, all waiting to share their stories, tips, and the lessons they learned along the way. So without further ado, let's start. Eyal, we'll start with you. Sales team, they are the early to meet the customer in an early stage. I'm interested to hear your thoughts about the impact of the sales team on the customer experience way before the customer success is actually get involved.
Yeah, so that's a great question to start with. So essentially, you know what they say, there is no second chance to make the first impression. So part of this, usually when I start working on building teams, the first thing that I would do with them is to explain to them that when we are engaged with a prospect, the first thing they buy is the team, the company, and only then the product. And with that, we usually define certain KPIs or SLAs to measure the level of service that we provide. How long should a prospect wait for an answer, inquiry? How long should they wait for a quote, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the second thing that really impacts the process would be the sales process from A to Z. And I'm personally a big fan of having a well-structured process where in each process, both the AE and the customer, prospect in this case, would understand what are the goals and what are the expectations on both sides. So we start with discovery. It starts with how well we analyze the challenges that he faces, how we ask the questions. If we are asking questions or just talking, if we are moving on to POC, is there any requirements to go into a POC? What is the level of commitment that we expect to see from the prospect, what he can expect from us? Moving on to the POC, what are the deliverables? How we are measuring them, who are the teams that are involved, the methods of communication, everything should be quite straightforward and transparent. Moving on to the commercial stage. If we support several commercial methods, let be customer-oriented. Let the customer choose what's right for him, and we will give him the coverage for that. And the most important thing and last thing would be how we transition the opportunity between the teams. So we don't want to have the customer highly enthusiastic, and then we close the deal, and then we are having a hard stop. We want the process to be as smooth and as fluent as possible.
Thank you very much, Eyal. So being smooth, being transparent, being visible is a very important part. Karina, now the sales team did their job and we have the customer, and I'm interested in the customer success and product team interface. So based on your experience, maybe you can share with us some guidelines when a CSM should run solo, when the CSM should approach the product management for some support.
I think the most powerful tool that a customer success manager have is leveraging product teams when it comes to engaging with customers in discussions about growth. So it is important to involve product at early stages because customer success obviously exposed to customers' plans and long-term execution plans. The most crucial part with the relationship between product and customer success is feedback from both of the ways. So understanding whether our customers' requirements are something feasible, and also how much of a single customer's request is basically common between the entire customer base.
Thank you. Elad, now it's the time for the product team to shine. So customer success, we deal with different customer challenges, and we need the product team support from time to time. Maybe you can share with the audience some ideas how to be effective and efficient when they approach the product team with some requests or some customer issues.
Yeah, thanks. So I think it's a great question. I think it touches on a key point, right? The interaction with the customer. And I think as Karina mentioned earlier, as early as possible in the process, as long as we know we are involved, we are there, it makes it way easier later on to understand and have empathy with the customers. And I think in the process itself, the better we come prepared, right, with the things that are top of mind for the customer, having a prep call, having the entire team sitting together and planning how that works, so that the interaction with the customer is not the first time that we all sit together in the same room and work together to solve the customer's problem. So eventually we can get there and lay out a plan instead of hearing for the first time. So a prep call, being able to get all the sensory information that we get from customer success as that partnership is built is the key to success. And I think the next part of it is the follow-up later, right? Keeping product involved even after the process. I think that is a key to the success of that interaction and solving the customer's problems.
And any advice to the CSMs what not to do? Elad.
Yes. What not to do? I think when it comes to the customer success and product interaction with the customers, sometimes you'd find a case where, never in our situation, right? But in some companies, you may find a situation where customer success is trying to be that channel all the way and kind of block that process from the product to the customer. And I think at the end of the day, being able to convey that actual problem and not talk about what the customer requested, not the mere request, but actually the problem that they're trying to solve. I think knowing the customer success people, the customer best. You can explain what the problem is. So, talking about the problems, not about the solutions that they requested. I think that is the key.
Good point. Understanding the challenges and the problems, not directly offering a solution, or maybe with collaboration with the product team. Thank you, Elad. Eyal, one of the another area for synergies between the teams is the way we share information, whether that's a product knowledge base, which we will touch upon, and also the information we share between the sales and the customer success. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts about how to make this process of handover between the sales and the CS successful for all teams and for our customers as well.
Okay, so there are certain things that I think that we should focus on. The first one is the fact that once you sign an agreement, you are getting into a stage where you want to avoid any buyer's remorse. So you have a clock ticking against you for the first 30 days in which you have to deliver something. The second thing is that it seems that all opportunities seem to close either at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year, meaning that the first tip would be to always keep the head of CS fully aware, fully understand the timelines, the expectations from the different customers, the challenges that we see, what we promised or overpromised, because he really need to successfully manage his limited resources. Now, the two pieces of information that I find most important, the first one would be the why buy. What is the initial challenge that we were able to solve with our solution? What is the pain that we solved? And why? Because people tend to change. The challenge would remain. So having like a northern light showing us where to focus our effort, not letting anything distract us from the main goal is super, super important. The second thing is about the people. Who are our champions, who benefited from the technology, and also who didn't benefit from the technology and might be in opposition to us. And in the long run, customer success teams should work with the champions and with the oppositions and try to convert them to be our new champions.
Thank you. Now let's hear the customer success side. Karina, what type of information from sales will make the CSM life much easier when we need to start managing the customer relationship?
So the handover process, I guess, it's the most crucial one when it comes to provide a seamless experience to our customers. In general, obviously, we're looking for the dry details of what happened in the sales process, whether there was a POC, what other use cases the customer is looking to step into in the future. I would say two most important things when it comes to successful handover is what are the customer's difficulties at this moment, whether he is looking to, in my world, quickly have a platform set up because he migrating from a different solution, for example, or a champion that basically brought the product into the company during the sales process switch. So we need to know and step into relationship, have a proper introduction with the champion, and provide that seamless experience, mainly not to ask the same questions twice.
Very good point. Customers actually hate when we ask the same question that the sales or the pre-sales team did before. Thank you very much. Elad, we mentioned before the customer data management. Now let's talk about the product knowledge base, which hopefully exists in more mature companies, but I was in startups that actually had this as well. What tools and processes you implemented to maintain such a product knowledge base for the benefit of the customer success, sales, and any customer-facing teams?
Yeah, I think it's a very important point for organizations that want to be scalable, right? In order to support scale, at least one tool needs to be used in a way that that allows for self-service. You know, it can be, I don't know, in Confluence in certain places, some internal knowledge base, Doc 360, or even Zendesk questions, right? So tools like that, they were used in some of the organizations that I worked for. And I think it doesn't necessarily directly relates to the maturity of the org. So very young organizations can use tools like that to eventually make sure that every release process, every, either sprint or a version or, what have you, you have properly documented capabilities so the teams out there in the field working with the customers, customer success, but also sales, pre-sales, they know what's in the box, what's on the truck. And whenever a new capability is used, especially in the way I'm managing that in organizations that I'm part of, it's not just what's there, it's also how can it be sold or used for upsell or used for increased usage and adoption of the product. And I think that is the key. And if in the organizations that you're not part of, you're part of, you don't have that, I think it's something that any customer success professional needs to ask for. It doesn't matter which tool is used as long as there is something that actually reflects what's the progress of the product and properly documents that, including the knowledge, right? How to sell it, how to use it, how to increase that adoption for the customer, which we already know now that, the more adoption you have, it's harder to take you out. So that's essentially.
Thank you. I want to stay with you with a different question. In customer success, sometimes we say it's not the right fit, it's not the right customer. I'm interested if product team ever get consulted before a customer is being signed. To what extent sales team consult with you before they sign the agreement with a specific customer?
So this is not just the customer success, right? It's a sales customer success product discussion where sometimes what the customer is expecting is the behavior of the product, but not for what it was designed for. And I think in a situation like that, it's really important to validate and ask the product team whether or not it makes sense, right? At the end of the day, we want to be successful. We want to make sure that the customer both uses and enjoys and is delighted by the product. And that is achieved by making sure that the use cases, what the buyer is looking for is aligned with where the product is heading, right? The long-term roadmap, the mid-term roadmap, and even the close-term roadmap. Promising something or saying something just because you heard it in a discussion here or there is not the right way probably to make a happy customer come on board. It's mostly around making sure that if it's not a vanilla use case, you consult, you ask, you say, hey, we have this customer, this is the opportunity size, this is what they're looking for, and then product can make the decision, right? We'll take this customer because it helps us grow in a direction we didn't think. Product leaders should be able to say, yeah, we say no to this because of that reason, and we say yes to this because of that reason, and this is an organizational effort, right?
Cool. I wish I could say the same. In my experience, I have some scars from commitments made by different people that CS had to deliver, but that's life. Karina, we cannot have a panel about customer success without touching on onboarding a little bit. I'm not going to talk about the usual stuff. I'm interested if you had to pull sales at some stage during the onboarding phase to solve any challenge. I'm interested if that ever happened.
Yes, sometimes. So sales come early in the customer stage, in the customer life cycle. So often their relationship with champions is already a solid one. Especially when you're working for a global company, sales reps are meeting customers on site, they're having dinners, they're forming those meaningful relationships. So we often leverage their assistance when it comes to managing expectations in regards what can we deliver for that customer, bridging those gaps maybe that the customer might have. And also, it's important to include sales in any commercial discussions. So sales provide very crucial insights in regards to the size of the company, their capabilities, our position versus our competitors with that customer. So we engage with sales at these points as well.
Thank you. Eyal, back to sales. Another point or area for collaboration, which I haven't seen too much, but maybe you can share an example, is when sales identify a certain feature or module and they collaborate with customer success to go to the product team and pitch why it's important to be developed. So I hope you can share with us at least one example.
Yeah, so I can think of several examples, but for instance, we had been engaged with a huge strategic customer, and we were running several opportunities in parallel, in different stages of the opportunities. And part of this, we had to reflect to the customer, in this specific case, a lot of KPIs to different stakeholders. So part of the customer success really joined in to help us to build the awareness, to work with the teams on training them, because these are not the obvious users. It's still part of the evaluation. And so after a few days, we find out that this is a bit of not scalable. We are investing a lot of effort in teaching stakeholders how to look into the console, not something which is maintainable. So we approached initially to the BI team, asked them to generate customized reports for the team, for different people within the prospect organization, each of them to have his own point of view about evaluating and the benefit you can get from the product. And essentially, we, in parallel, started to work with the product team to embed this kind of functionality to be part of the product.
Thank you very much. Elad, we cannot have someone from product without talking about roadmap, right? From the customer success perspective, we, as CSMs, we are continuously engaged with customers. We solicit feedback. We ask questions. We try to identify new features and requirements. What would be your advice to the audience, to CSMs, when they need to approach the product management, how they can sharpen their feature requirement gathering skills?
So I think actually the point that was just raised before this question that you asked is a key thing, right? When we evaluate in product features and roadmap in general, we take a few key pillars into account. It's the market, the customers, the prospects, the opportunities, competition, thought leadership, and the more we can align our plans with data, right? With what both prospects as well as customers are looking for, it helps us and allows us and enables us to better plan and better have that lined up. So ideally coming with potentially, the business opportunity, right? The market size, what it would solve for the revenue that would come in from these customers, potential upsells, right? The ability to attach a dollar value to a feature is priceless. It's hard, but it's priceless if it's achievable, right? Being able to really highlight the problem. Again, I'm going back to the problem that we're trying to solve. I think both sales and customer success have the ability to say, what's top of mind and what are they trying to solve. But then it's up to product to say then in a collaboration. It's not a siloed work or a siloed discussion. Okay, if this is the problem, this is what we can do. Is this good enough, right? And I think the discussion of is this good enough can be done only when you have a really good and firm understanding of the problem. So I think, to your question and to summarize this one, as much information as possible, as much as, dollar value to assign as possible, and as much details on the problem that we're trying to solve as possible.
Thank you. And Karina, from customer success perspective, how do you prioritize feature requests, and to what extent you collaborate with the product to achieve this prioritization?
So the natural prioritization way is according to revenue. But in general, we consider ourselves as the firepower of product. So whenever a product has a specific question, they would like to estimate whether a specific feature would benefit specific type of customers. Us as customer success managers are engaged with customers on a daily basis. So approximately between 8 to 10 to 20 calls with customers every day. And imagine just at the end of each call, it doesn't matter why you're talking to that customer. Imagine at the end of every call, you have 10 seconds to ask a question that is very valuable to the product and ask this relevant feedback and then convey the message back. Those are efforts that we're doing with customers. Then we're able to come with a specific customer base with specific feedback, attach revenue to that feedback, and contribute to the prioritization.
Thank you. Eyal, this is going to be a challenging question for you. We spoke about the handover from sales to CS and the flow of information from one team to the other. Let's switch sides. And I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Can the customer success team help the sales team to sell? And in what way?
Yeah, so great question. One thing that really works well for me, so we have different perspective about when we meet the customer. So when sales meet the customer, we are looking for the highest impact in the shortest term. And then we transition the account to customer success, hopefully, and they start to work with the customer to deliver the first, and then they need to stretch their capabilities, upsell and cross-sell, et cetera, et cetera. So learning from customer success how they are looking at this, what are the possibilities for the mid-term, for the long-term, and I can take this information, and then when I'm working with the customer during the engagement stage, and describing how the entire journey with us is going to look like. In the short term, what would be the immediate impact that they can expect to see, but also what he can expect to see in the medium term, in the long term, really helped me send additional value to the customer, to build my trust, and show how I'm capable of helping him.
Thank you very much. And I believe that also the contribution of customer success to sales and pre-sales also go through what we talked with Elad before, the consolidated product knowledge-based tool, and how you try to gather all the information, different use cases, different challenges, and share it between the teams. Karina, I want to touch upon one topic that is always hot in customer success, especially in recent years, and I think you experience this as well, preparing for scale. This is the one case where there's a good market fit, sales team actually bring a lot of customers, now customer success needs to do a lot with less, and especially in these times. So can you share with us some of your thought process and ideas how to plan for scale?
So as a leader of a team that is that is suffering from these hyper-growing pains for the past 3 years, I guess the most crucial understanding that I can share with everybody is to think about the customer experience. In general, you need to design an onboarding process that will cover all the basics, and then look at how to cover the rest of the process with one-to-many strategies. It's 2023 is all about scaling. Everybody's scaling, looking how to spend less resources and still being able to continue with the company growth, absorbing new customers into the ecosystem. So it is important to learn and educate your teams on one-to-many strategies, identifying, using data, mutual pains that customers are experiencing. For example, they stuck maybe on a specific point in their onboarding process, or maybe some registration issues. With data, you're able to gather those common pain points to customers and then address them in one-to-many approaches. It can be a webinar. It can be an office hour where you invite your customers to ask the questions and address them at bulk. And obviously, all those, when you scale and you identify those pain points that are common between a wide customer base, it's very important to give proper visibility to product and sales and work on how improving them in order to continue to improve the experience for our customers.
Thank you very much. Scale is definitely one of the biggest challenges that we have. We are approaching the end of our panel, and I think lunch is waiting for everyone who is hungry here. First of all, thanks very much, Eyal, Elad, and Karina, for a very fruitful discussion and for your insights. I want to leave the audience with just 2 notes for myself. First of all, customer success is not just a team, it is a mindset, and I firmly believe that all teams, product and sales and others, should be mindful of the customer objectives and requirements and work together to achieve success. And the second is that customer success and sales, yes, they have different KPIs, maybe different ways of working, but we don't race each other. We all work together with the support from the product team to acquire, retain, and grow our customer base. And with that, I'll conclude this panel. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.